Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before I do, one more call. There's a seat in the front. I think there's a seat back there, a seat over there, just in case any of you along the wall want to take a load off. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emerald Tribuno. I work in the Office of Study Abroad here at St. Thomas. And before I begin, I just like to get a sense of who's in the room with me. So have any of you studied abroad yourselves? Great. Does anybody want to shout out a couple of the places you might have studied? There's lots of hands over here.
London.
Okay, Spain, London, Norway. Great, Germany, Japan, I love it. All right, and then how many of you have had another child study abroad already? Okay, love this, like all these experts in the room with me. I barely have to present today. All right, so as I'm getting started, I also want to acknowledge that this isn't even day one, right? I mean, it's like day zero. You're wrapping your head around the fact that your son or daughter is leaving home, coming here to St. Thomas, and now I want to talk to you about sending them somewhere else. So I get it, you just might not be there yet, but there was a great reason that I was invited to talk with all of you today, and that is this. 56% of Tommies will study abroad by the time they graduate. So as you look around the room, more than half of you are going to have your son or daughter come up to you and say that they want this to be part of their 4 years here at St. Thomas. And I would guess that that number might actually be higher because you've selected to come to my session today. So that might mean that you already know your son or daughter wants to do this, or maybe you're the one that's kind of giving them the nudge, encouraging them to do it, right? The other reason that we're talking with you today, and also with all of the students today in separate sessions, is because early planning with study abroad is really, really helpful. The sooner that students can come in, start talking to us, start thinking about where this is going to fit for them, the more opportunities and options that they'll have. All right, so as I move forward, I want to show a quick video now. This is a former student of ours, Nick. He was a biology major. He just graduated this last spring, aspiring doctor. And he studied abroad twice. So he did a semester in Denmark, and then also a J-term, January term course, 4 weeks in Uganda. The course in Uganda is what his video is about, and he was looking at public health during that experience. There we go.
Craziness was apparent as 4 women gave birth inside the room. Another 4 midwives and nurses ran around while the normally lighthearted OBGYN, Dr. Bexley, decided on whether or not to perform a cesarean section. The bustle of the delivery room continued well into the night. Soon enough, my eyes were bloodshot. I walked over to the calmer side of the room to take a break, when my tired eyes caught the infant warmer. I went up to the machine and looked inside to see a newborn swallow in a tiny pink book. She was calm despite the extensive ordeal she had just experienced. After about 30 seconds, I returned everybody at the other side of the room, but my mind wandered back to this person who I met a few moments earlier. My pensive side reflected on this unknown child. Where was she from? What was her family like? I couldn't help but think, what kind of a life was she destined for? How much of it was in her control, and how much of it has been predetermined by the circumstances of the society around her? I grapple with these questions still today. The concepts of power and privilege seem more evident to me then, in her life, than in any situation I had previously encountered in my own. My perspective on society and subsequently the world changed because of my time in North America. In that moment, and in the period of reflection after, I was paralyzed by the medium of thoughts that I was introduced to and was not aware of. After deeper contemplation, I started to see myself become less self-serving and less self-centered. I had always wondered why I felt this urge to become a doctor, and I didn't really understand why at that point in time. As I look back on it, this was the first time that I began to understand the power of empathy. Empathy is a word that gets used a lot, but I didn't grasp the depth of that word until that moment. I became cognizant of what it means to care about others, and I started to notice the great influence that indifference and furthermore fear can have in my life. I never learned any of this little girl, but I didn't need to. She inspired and sparked a change within me to understand how indifference and fear played a role in my life. It was enough to motivate me to critically think about what I believe, to be courageous for what I believe is right, something I'm not so sure I would have comprehended without it. I think the namelessness is a poignant reminder of the delicate nature of this
All right, so I like this video because I think it gets at what our office aims to do as we develop programs and as we work with different programs around the world. And that's really to prepare our students for tomorrow's global challenges. And so through these programs, we're looking at outcomes. These are not, they're fun, right? There's some fun. But we're really focused more on what are they getting out of it and how is it going to help them meet their goals while they're here at St. Thomas. So through this, we're really looking at skills. And so different programs have different components, but some of the ones that we offer will offer internships as part of that. They'll do in-depth field research, community-based service learning, academic research, and language immersion. So all of these types of program options allow students to take that deeper dive into something that they're interested or passionate about. And oftentimes, it's a deeper dive that they can't take here in St. Paul. So one example of that is a student of ours who was interested in marine biology. We don't have an ocean here, right? So she went and studied in the Turks and Caicos. She studied the reef ecology, what was going on with the fishing in the area and how the local economy affected the health of the reef. That experience did confirm that she was passionate about marine biology, and that's what she wanted to do going forward. And now she had this amazing hands-on experience doing that actual thing on her resume and in future interviews to talk about. And then at the base of all of these skill building things really is intercultural agility. What we want every student to gain out of all of our programs is the ability to work across difference, work across culture, and be able to communicate effectively. Going back to the video with Nick, so his program was a community-based service learning program. And so you saw him there reflecting on this experience in the clinic. That was a great opportunity for him to observe the similarities and the differences in the local way that the medical practice was in Uganda versus here in the US. But the program also had him engage with community leaders in Uganda. So he was hearing from local people what was going on there, what were the social factors, the political factors, the economic factors that were influencing the lives of the people that use the clinic. So, as you think about a doctor, you're really treating the whole person, and that experience engaged him with not only the medicine, but also the people. Another part of this hands-on learning is really that personal growth and development that comes out of these types of programs. We always hear from students, they get back and they're like, I just feel like I have this new sense of independence. I feel like I can do anything. I have so much more self-confidence, like figuring out what to do when you don't have all the information. I feel like I can do that now. And I did it, and I was great at it. And did I make mistakes sometimes? Yes, but then I figured it out. So, it's amazing to hear what they say when they get back. In the video, Nick himself talked about building that empathy, right? So it was in a very new way for him. You could tell that that was a deeply impactful experience. But it also allowed him to see himself in a new light, right? Maybe he was reflecting back on his values, the way that he grew up, his place in the world, and how he could impact maybe global health, right? All of this is really leading up to getting our students career ready. And so all of the skills that they're building, not only here in St. Paul, but if they do go abroad, is meant to help prepare them for working in our global world. So again, going back to those intercultural skills, we're really looking at those being transferable intercultural skills. This is not about you go to one place and you learn about one culture. So yes, Nick went to Uganda. I'm sure he ate the food. I'm sure he listened to the music, learned about Uganda in all different ways, and I'm sure that was wonderful for him. But what we're really more interested in are those transferable tools. It's like we're building a toolkit for them. What the tools that he used to communicate with other people, to navigate the differences that he encountered, those are tools that he can use in any country, in any culture, in any industry. My own husband is an engineer, and he, in college, thought study abroad didn't remotely apply to him, so he didn't even look at it as an option. He certainly now travels way more than I do internationally. He works with organizations and companies. He's got satellite offices in Amsterdam, China, Mexico, India. He has a real need to engage across cultures and get some work done. So I think now as he reflects back, he can see how this might have been helpful for him. In addition to this, I think students are really building on those soft skills that our employers are looking for, right? So they're going to have real life examples of navigating a challenging situation, taking the initiative, problem solving. All of those things come up in a study abroad experience. And then finally, I had mentioned earlier, 56% of Tommies study abroad. Maybe you heard that number and thought, it's kind of in the middle, it's like halfway, it's okay. But in the national context, that's 10% of students are studying abroad. So in a national job search, 1 in 10 applicants might have a global experience on their resume. So it's certainly something that can help them stand out. All right, so talking a little bit more about study abroad here at St. Thomas, all of the programs that we offer are really designed to be integrated into the 4-year plan. So students are taking major, minor, and core requirements, all in an effort to not delay graduation and just be part of that experience that they have here. It's not meant to be an extra thing on top of what they're already doing. There's also, I think, from the past, there's this idea of like a junior year abroad was the typical thing to do. And now we're really customized to what the student needs. Not only academically, when you're thinking about their major, but also kind of, again, as a whole person. So are they in sports? Are they doing an extracurricular activity like choir or band? Do they have a season that they need to work around? Is there something else going on in their life that makes a certain time of year better for them or a certain length of program? So we do offer J-term programs, summer programs, fall, spring semester programs, and academic year. We have a few signature programs here at St. Thomas. So some of these are semester in length, some are short term. They are led by St. Thomas faculty with all St. Thomas students. One in particular that I'll highlight for you is our newer Enroll Empower program. So if you haven't heard, we have a campus in Rome. It's called the Bernardi Residence. And this particular program is aimed towards fall sophomore year. Students are essentially taking kind of those core classes that they would take sophomore year. It's open to any major. St. Thomas faculty live in the building with them, and this particular year they're also going to explore the theme of immigration throughout the term. So that'll be integrated into their coursework, but also some of the academic site visits and weekend excursions they do. Another one I'll highlight is the Shanghai Business Semester. This is following up on our London Business Semester, which has run for over 25 years very successfully. We're opening a new program in Shanghai. There's an integrated internship component to this. So considering that you're in one of the world's major financial centers, if you have a business major and they have direct work experience in China, that's certainly going to help them on their resume and in interviews. So these are just some of the programs that we offer. We have a whole other slew of programs, over 100 plus programs that we offer through different partners around the world. So these are programs that we worked with for many, many years, and it allows us to say we really do have a program for every single major here at St. Thomas. All right, so I wanted to leave a little bit of time for question and answer. Maybe there were some things that you were hoping to come here and hear me say, and I didn't quite get to them. So I'd love to hear questions from everyone, or just a few people, really. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, so every year for January term, that's our biggest term that we send students, so about 600 go. Faculty get to dream up course ideas and propose them, and they change year to year. But one that stays the same every year is this Theology 101 in Rome. This is a short-term program specifically designed for freshman students. And so they go and they live in our Bernardi campus in Rome with St. Thomas faculty, and they take that first theology course. The application period for that is like, it comes quick. So in September is the priority deadline. And if your student might be interested in that, I definitely encourage them to apply at that priority deadline. More questions? Yeah. Yeah. So different programs are priced differently, kind of like when you shop for cars and they all have different features and models. The St. Thomas sponsored programs, especially when thinking of the semester context, it's pegged to the on-campus costs. So the costs are very comparable to being on campus here when you think about room and board and tuition. Some of the J-term courses, for example, if you were to take a course here on campus, I probably have the numbers a little off, but like roughly $4,500 just to come here in St. Paul. If you were to do a J-term abroad, it would be roughly $6,500. But that's going to include airfare, lodging, some of your meals, all the excursions, and actually the tuition. So it varies a little bit depending on the program, but a lot of times very comparable to what's going on here. You had a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask about the J-term. So if they go, you said the programs do vary. So they'll be there just like for what, 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
Yep, so the J-term programs are meant to fit in that gap period between the fall and spring semester here at St. Thomas. So they're usually 4 weeks long. That's a good question. I guess I don't know the details of how that works, but I do know that many students that have on-campus housing study abroad, and it works out without having a lot of trouble that I've heard of. Like if it was hard, I think I would know about it. Is there any other questions? Food? Yep. So it varies depending on the program. Most of our programs, especially the short-term ones, are going to include some of the meals. But what we do in all program cases is if you go to our website and search for a program, there's a little button called cost. You click on that and we get an itemized like spreadsheet that says here are all the things that are going to be billed to your student account. And here's what we think you might spend above that. So students are really able to see, even before a program goes sometimes, what the cost might be. What else? Yes.
How many of your study abroad programs
Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to like give you a number, but it's definitely something that we talk about with students as they look at programs. So we ask them not only what are your goals, what's your major, where do you want to go, but do you want to have that integrated homestay experience or live in a dorm, or in some of our programs they're living in hotels or guest lodges or things like that. So if a student really wants to do homestay, then we would direct them towards the programs that offer that. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we do say that we can offer a program for every major. And I think in particular, like STEM students or students that have a really sequential course sequence think that they can't go abroad. The earlier that you talk to us, the more opportunities that we have that we can offer you. So even like an engineering student, we've found great programs in Australia and Korea that are taught in English that are, state-of-the-art engineering facilities that a student could go abroad for that semester, come back, and still be on track with their St. Thomas course sequencing. So really just coming and talking to us early allows us to help students identify those opportunities. Yeah.
So should my son make an appointment, like if he wants to get some consult on exploring
Yeah.
possibilities? Is that how that works? You just call and make an appointment to meet with someone?
Yeah, so I think especially if your son or daughter is thinking about a semester, about a year in advance is a good time to make an advising appointment with us. But if they are in one of those majors that they already know it's going to be pretty mapped out for them, even coming in freshman year or talking to their academic advisor and starting to pre-plan, when do I want to fit this in, is a good idea, even freshman year. For J-term programs or short-term summer programs, they don't really necessarily need an advising appointment. They just need to keep an eye on our information coming out. So we have a J-term fair in March for like the next January. Students can come, talk to the faculty that are leading programs, learn about the options, and then apply for April up till October. That's our final deadline. Yes. Yeah, so we of course give students like instructions or support if they're not sure where to get started with getting a passport, but they do have to do it themselves. And then if a program does require a visa, if it's one of our partner programs, they give instructions and assistance for students, and if it's one of ours, we do. Students do have to actually do the application themselves, but we try to at least give them some advice along the way so they can navigate that. We do have a really amazing thing happening this year. We were selected to be a passport caravan school, and so we are giving away at least 100 free passports this spring for students who have never held a passport before. So if your student doesn't have one yet and they're thinking about studying abroad, that might be a good opportunity for them to keep an eye on. I think we're out of time, but if anybody has any other questions, I can stay here for a few minutes. Please feel free to come up. Otherwise, thank you so much. I think there's a reception downstairs. You should definitely go. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.